What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rex, back with well, for the first time, honestly, with the new series I'm doing on my channel. Um, I'm gonna call it Rex Advocate. It's a play on Devil's Advocate. I'm gonna give y'all my opinions on things that's just going on and rumbling in my mind. Um, this is all gonna be one take for every single video. So if you hear my family in the background, or if I have to turn to talk to somebody, yo, it's gonna be real raw, uncut. This is for my personal enjoyment. I really don't know where this is gonna go in terms of viewership or how many people are gonna watch it. If you are gonna watch it, this is gonna be perfect for you to listen to while you like cleaning up, while you doing like little tasks. Maybe you're going driving to work. If you need like a little something to listen to my sexy voice, of course. Then this is something to listen to. This is the very first episode. If you, I don't know what you guys want to see. If you're cool with just seeing me here, or if you're gonna like turn off the video and just listen to my audio. If you want some gameplay or something to go along with it, like some just so you just can have a visual while you listen to me talk, or maybe not. I don't know. You guys let me know what you want. Until you let me know something, I'm gonna do this, and this is gonna be the structure and the way that we do this video series, Rex Advocate. Um, yeah, so that's all I wanted to say for that. And the first topic of the series is terminally online and taking a break from social media. This is a very big topic right now, I think, especially with the way that online usage has gone up tremendously. Um, so if you don't know, I've taken a break from all social media, so Twitch, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, anything of the sort. Um, so yeah, I've taken a break, like, so that's why I'm making this video series. Just so I can have something to do. I don't want to just like I'm looking for a job right now. But I don't want to spend all day like just playing video games or watching Netflix or TV shows and stuff like that. I want something to be productive where I can work my mind, write things down. I have notes here on the side. You can't see them, but I have notes for bullet points what I want to talk about. So like yeah, this is just so I can have something to be productive and something that I can do and just enjoy creating. I want to create something and have that as my own. This is all gonna go on a playlist I've already created called Rex's Advocate. Um, and if you see the thumbnail, it's from the popular. It's from the movie Devil's Advocate. Uh, so like you see me there over YouTube, basically saying I'm teaching YouTube something. I'm teaching y'all something. I'm letting y'all in. I'm playing my advocate, like Rex's Advocate. I'm showing my viewpoints and opinions that's very unpopular. If you've seen my hero takes, if you see me on like Dustin streams, if you've seen me anywhere else, I'm very great at playing the antagonist, playing the devil's advocate. Just having different opinions. It's not like I'm doing it intentionally, just how I think and how I rationalize things and how I come to conclusions of things. So this is just like what this is all going to be about. All right, so let's get this started. Started terminally online and taking a break from social media, yo. Um, so my experience with being online goes back to like maybe 2005, 2004. We got our first computer, and I was enamored already. Like I was just like, oh my god, I could do so much. And like I was so intrigued by it. And my dad, like at the time, he would build computers for people. So like and then he played video games a lot. Like so, I stood no chance. Like I wanted to be like my dad, do everything that he did. You know what I mean? So like I got really invested in being online. Uh, so uh, I just loved being online computers. And then I discovered YouTube, like when I was in elementary school, and I was just like, bro, this is the coolest shit ever. People making videos. This had to be in like 2006, 2007, 2000, like around that time, 2007, 2008. I remember when I first got on YouTube, and me and my cousin, at the time, not at the time, but me and my cousin, we were looking at YouTube videos, and our parents didn't know what YouTube was. YouTube was so brand new, they thought it was a site that gave viruses. Like, what is this YouTube? So I would sneak on, get on YouTube, watch a whole bunch of videos. This was back then. YouTube was Wild Wild West. You would see porn on there. You would see all kind of crazy shit. YouTube had really no filter back then, and it was a wild place, but it was great, man. It was authentic. There was no one doing anything for money. It was just like people having experience and having ideas and just uploading them to the platform. There was no big comedy YouTubers. It was just like real life, raw, uncut videos. Or like if you wanted to make something funny, it was just like raw. Like it was no. The moment that the market got oversaturated, and the moment that all the money started flooding in, everything became so high production. And that's what I think YouTube has lost, is that carefree feel, that raw feel, that genuine feel. Like now I watch a lot of channels, like 'cause I uploaded my video, the last video I had, and it was about all these channels, and most of these channels are like way more high production than the original, what YouTube originally was. And like that's cool, but I really do miss, all that stuff. But being online for so long has, warped a lot of people's perspective, especially the kids now that are born into it. Because I remember when I used to go outside, play like manhunt, play baseball, play football, like being out there on the apartment complex on the big green fans and stuff outside. Like I remember all of that, but a lot of these kids have never really been outside and played with their friends. Like nobody's outside anymore. There's no kids outside running around the neighborhood causing havoc. Nobody's ringing the doorbell and running away. There's no kids, just a whole bunch of kids riding their bikes. There's like none of that. And what I've noticed is I've become I've become different. Like like I've I don't interact with people outside as much. It's taken away a lot of times like where I can do things. Like I remember when I first got off of social media, this was like a week and a half ago. I was folding clothes, and I was like, oh, this is taking too long. Let me check what's going on Twitter, but I deleted it off my phone. So I had to just sit and do what I was doing. And I think that's something that we take for granted, just doing tasks. I think that with social media, we have gotten so used to being distracted. We're always distracted. We're always distracted being online, having to be online. And I got an iPhone, and it said my phone usage was down 25% already. So let's drive that up. Yeah, so that's like my experience being online, and like me being different and changing, and like me wanting to like normalize myself a little bit. And also, like, people online are not as smart as they appear to be. Like, you'll be on a Twitter thread, or like you'll see an Instagram post, or you see a YouTube video, and you'll just be like, "Nigga, what is you talking about?" It's like people have echo chambers online, so people could just reaffirm their ideas over and over and over again. And then what happens is, because they're terminally online, they begin to think this is that their viewpoints are just the truth. Because back in the past, you could get one person that thought something, and he would never meet maybe like a group of people that felt his way. Maybe he meet one more person, but now that he's online, he can find thousands of people that have that same opinion. And even if it's wrong, they're just bouncing off the same ideas with each other, and they're just boop, 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 it's bouncing off the wall. And 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 they're just talking amongst themselves, shooting the shit, and it's just not good information. And then also, because of that, they're not getting complete information. They think that their idea and their side is the only idea inside that matters, so the other side doesn't matter. They're not getting other perspectives. They don't care about others' perspectives because it feels good to be right. It feels good to be in a group. I will not lie to you. It feels good to be a part of these things, to hate on things, to like have everybody on your side, and to point at other people. And and then it gets to the point where it's either you with them or you're against them. And the moment you have an opinion that's against the group, they'll kick you out. They'll kick you out. You see a lot of this when it comes to um like trans issues, where one trans, like Dave Chappelle talked about it, like how his trans friend defended him, and they were ostracized and kicked out of basically the community, and they were like berated on social media. But this is goes for any group. If you are a conservative, if you decide to think a little liberal for once, they'll or progressive for once, they'll kick you out the group. If you and vice versa, if you're progressive liberal and you start being a little bit more conservative, they'll kick you out. If it's same with the black community. Same with the gay community, same with every race, creed. Like, it's either you with them or you're against them, to an obscene degree, when a lot of these issues and topics, and when you can't like expand your horizons. Like being online doesn't allow for you to expand your horizon once you decide to become a part of one of these groups. Like unless you make the group specifically to go against that, like you will automatically become bogged down in what they're thinking, and and it's hard to recognize it at the time when you're in it because you think, because I've been a part of it, especially when I was younger, like in middle school and high school, and I was just easily influenced. Like I remember back in the day watching Woody's Gamer Tag, Wings of Redemption, FPS Cal, what's that dude named that the dude that was stealing all the Syndicate? Like I remember back in the day watching all these dudes and watching PK podcasts and listening to them and thinking that they're right because I'm in the echo chamber of people that just play Call of Duty. FPS is like I think that what they're saying is true facts. And then when it would say things that were like borderline racist or just racist in general, I wouldn't think anything of it because I was like, okay, these dudes know something. They're older than me. They obviously know some truth of the world. And just looking back about it, like these dudes were completely wrong. And then just thinking back on it, like Woody's gamer tag used to have this thing where he would accept mail, like emails from his viewers, and he would read it out and give advice. And these guys were all from the ages of like just like me, from 12, 13 to like 18. And then they'll be giving like relationship advice, like sexual advice. I'm like, bro, these are kids, and you're giving them advice about sex. Like it's immoral and wrong. Like you shouldn't be doing that. Like you, like that today would not fly. And I think that today there are some things that go way too far, like with cancel culture and like just the way that you don't want people to grow and learn. You want to vilify them and kick them out and never give them another chance. But there are some things that I think are good, like stopping things like that happen with Woody Gamer. I'm not saying he's a pedophile or he's a groomer or he's like assaulting people or kids or whatever, but like it's just like gross negligence on his part to do something like that because like, it was okay at the time. Like, and I'm glad that we've moved away from that a little bit. Well, not even a little bit, a lot, honestly. Like, so and it goes to show how much can change in like 10 years or like 13 years. Like, so much has changed online that is like even Twitter, bro. When I was on Twitter back in 2010 to 2013, 14, Twitter was a completely different place. Now, if you take like back back in the day, you could take a picture of somebody, post it, make fun of them, and everybody on Twitter would make fun of that person. Not because it's just like it's like water cooler talk. Everybody's doing it. It's funny. Everyone's enjoying it. If you do the same thing today, people's like, "Ugh, I think it's just so wrong that people make fun of these people, or it's like blah 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 yep 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 yep. It's like, bro, come on, shut the fuck up. Like it's annoying, man. It's honestly annoying. I miss the old days. I miss the days that you can just say things and just have fun and everybody knows you're joking or even if you're not joking, people just brush it off and move on. Right now, it's become to the point where nobody can say anything that's controversial without worrying about what may happen to them because now you can't even say something online without like that's super controversial without somebody being like, who is this person? Let me look up their information, let me dox them, let me put their information out online. Now they're telling your family what you said, now they're telling your job what you said. Now you can't find work because the picture of you was on the internet for something that you said. Like, I know I'm saying everyone should get away for everything, but I think it's going too far at this point. And then I think that YouTubers and Twitch streamers, I think they play a huge part into that. That they get these communities and they sick them on people. And this is just for the terminally online side, not for the real world. But these Twitch streamers, hell, they even attack real life people sometimes. Like they'll get these communities, they'll build it up. They have this group thing, and they'll just regurgitate the same information, and it'll bounce off each other. And what's really sick about these Twitch streamers and YouTubers. And like, again, I'm not a YouTube nigga. I'm just a nigga on YouTube. So like they will think that their ideas are actually more real than it actually is. Like they will say these terminally online things and think that is real life. And it's like, bro, you have no concept of reality. You have no concept of of what real people think, or what real people value. Like you would think, like, here's an example. All these Twitch people and all these YouTubers and all these socially sh- online woke warriors and social justice warriors, when defund the police came out, they were like, yeah, defund the police, like F the police, we get rid of all the police. Yeah, Black Lives Matter. And it's like, bro, what, like, have you talked to a real black person? What real black person you think wants the police going? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what black person do you think wants that to happen? None. Like, we want cops to treat us better. We want them to not hurt us. But we also recognize the purpose of them. Instead of saying defund the police, I say reallocate the resources of the police. Put them in other avenues of the police. Don't say defund. Like, this, like, they get this idea and they run with it. And all these political, like, YouTube debaters are like part of the issue too with this terminally online. I think like Vaush, Hassan, um like just a bunch of these people, like they're just so bad at understanding real world consequences and real world opinions and ideas. And it gets irritating to listen to them. If you don't know who Hassan and Vosh is, go check them out if you want to. Just listen to, like, don't just listen, don't look at clips of them. Look at, because I think that clipping and like looking at clips of somebody, it's like you can take so many things out of context. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just like, and then none of them make clip content. Like, none of them make content to where their full viewpoint can be summed up in like a 2 minute clip or a 30-second clip. It's like, there's so many things I've said in the past on videos in real life that if you just clip the 30 seconds of it, I'll sound like the most evil person in the world. Context matters, and I think if I'm recommending them to you, I think the people that watch my videos and subscribe to me are generally more intelligent. So, like, go look at their full content and you will understand what I'm saying about them. Maybe you won't feel that way, but I think that they just have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to real world issues. And then there's someone else that I watch. His name is Destiny. I talked about him in my favorite YouTubers video, and I think Destiny does a much better job than Hassan, Vaush, and like all these other. Those are the big ones. All these other political streamers and things like that, and social commentators on YouTube and Twitch. But the issue comes in, I think, even with Destiny, is that Destiny, because like what Hassan, Vaush, and what like a lot of conservatives, Hassan and Vaush aren't conservatives, but what a lot of conservatives do is that they understand the stats so well, so well. Like, they understand the stats, but they don't understand how those stats are just stats without actual knowing of what's going on. Because like if you look at a basketball game, you can see, oh, he had 20 rebounds. I mean, like 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, right? And like, oh man, he had a good game. But even if that's the case, just looking at that stat line, you're not going to see the real impact that that person had on the court. But actually watching the film and watching the game and understanding like the nuance of what he actually did, or hell, maybe he struggled for most of the game, and that was just like a last like fourth quarter, third quarter run. Like maybe he did bad the first half of the game. You just don't know because you don't have the full scope of context. You just have numbers. And what Destiny understands is he understands how those numbers relate to the overall picture, like what actually happened in the game. But then there's another level, is how that relates to the individual and how like how it feeds back into each other, like how it affects, how it relates to the individual, how it reflects or like redistributes back into the bigger viewpoint, then redistributes back into the stats. He doesn't get the human element of it, and I think it's because he's one, terminally online, and two, I think that he just doesn't have the emotional like intelligence to understand that. Like, cause one thing that I've seen Destiny talk about is how um he doesn't understand how black people can have the viewpoint of like thinking all police are bad. But he understands, but he will understand that black people and minorities commit the most crime in the country, and he understands why, because of systemic racism and blah 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 blah. We know like 400 year slavery, Jim Crow, all of that, how it ties back into like poverty, how about redlining, and how it ties into crime. He understands all of that, but he doesn't make the human connection into police. He doesn't understand how that connection works, because but then he will understand that women are afraid of getting raped, right? And that when they have an interaction with the man, they have to be under the assumption that something couldn't go left with any man. They have to be under the assumption, so that causes him to be more vigilant than men are, and he understands that. But then he will also say that if you look at statistically, there's so many police interactions with black people throughout the country, but 9 times out of 10 that nothing happens. But then he doesn't understand that women have way more interaction with men regularly than black people do with cops. And if you could compare that the interaction to rape like ratio, it's not even close. Like, you know how many just small interactions women have with men throughout their day or throughout the week or the month or the year, and it doesn't result in a rape. But for some reason he can understand that they have to be worried of all rape. But why can't he understand, or like a lot of like online people, why can't they understand that for black people, it's the same thing with the rape. It's like, yes, this interaction may go well, but what if it doesn't? I always have to be wary. I always have to think ahead. I always have to assume that this dude is racist. This dude wants to hurt me. That doesn't mean I'm going to be like, like berating him or making him angry. It's like that goes against what black people are taught from birth. From birth, from early on, we're taught that be docile, hands up, don't make any sudden. We were taught to put the mind of the cops at ease. That's what we're taught. So when we have an interaction with the police, that's what we do. But he doesn't understand that the reason we do that is because we can't take the risk. We can't take the risk of just having a normal interaction just like a white person. We can't have that risk. We can't have that notion that they're here to protect us because we're automatically seen as a threat no matter where we go. So, and I think that's like where online people just don't have that, they don't have that intelligence to see the individual and how that relates to the group, then how that relates back to the stats. Like they don't have that foresight to see that. And that becomes with a lot of social issues. Like they could like there's one class of people like Hassan and Vaush where they understand the numbers. And then you have the Destinies that understands the numbers, understands that how that affects the group, but they don't understand how that affects the individual and how that returns back to the group and returns back to the stats. And I haven't found anybody, especially that was white, that can do that. And I always say this, one of my favorite things is watch white people debate and argue about things that they have no personal stake in. It's my favorite thing to listen to, but it's also annoying because like a like trans people say like Vouch is supposed to be defending them, but he says all this crazy shit and it just reflects bad back on them. So yeah, that was just like my viewpoint on like these online YouTubers and debaters and like these woke people and how they try to speak on issues that they have no idea about how it relates to the again how the stats relate to the group, then how the group relates to the individual, and how that all feeds back into it as a cycle. They don't understand it because they don't have to live it. They don't have to deal with it every day. They don't have to learn it. They don't have to. So, but these are the people that are allowed and speaking the most online, and then eventually, like because online is becoming more and more common, that starts leaking out into the real world. So that's just a shame. Um, and here's like I kind of spoke it on already, but while I'm taking a break for social media, like I'm just tired. Like I don't want to always be on it all the time. I want to get my life together. I want to do more for my life, and I think social media is holding me back. I think that it just distracts too much, bro. I gotta do something more, and social media is just it's not it right now, bro. I'm trying to go to the end of the year without it, and if I'm still good without it by the end of the year, man, bro, I may never use it again. Like I don't like I'm not missing it. I'm not missing knowing about what's going on all over the world. And I think social media has just a degrading effect on my mind, like over time. Like I think it just slowly like makes me not as intelligent as I know I am. I think it slows me down. I'm not processing things as fast. I'm not like just thinking overall better. It's like there's just because there's so much going on social media. Like there's like you know what's going on with Joe Schmo. You know what's going on with Drake. You know what's going on with Kanye. You know what's going on with this random couple that's arguing outside. You know what's going on with this YouTuber that did this. You know what's going on with this actor, this actress. You know what's going on with regular people, like all around. Like, and then all their opinions are not that good, and it's like you just looking everywhere and getting all this information. And what it really comes down to is we're not supposed to be that aware. We're not supposed to be that aware of everything that's going on all around us. And that's just the truth, man. Like, if you look at just how people were before social media, they were a lot more happy when it came to like certain things. And I'm not saying, and I'm not one of those idiots that think that social media has ruined life as we know it and online has ruined everything. And this new generation is worse than the old generation. It's like bullshit. Y'all were just as bad as stuff, if not worse, because y'all could actually get away with it and not be recorded. So like, you miss me with that bullshit about like the old generation was just so much better. It wasn't. It wasn't. Like let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a beam, man. It wasn't. But I do think that being so self-aware is a big issue because like you not only are you more self-aware, you're more aware of every like just look at this Ukraine incident. If this was back in the day, we wouldn't even know about what's actually going on. We would just be going on with our lives. Like any of this war stuff, we wouldn't know. We would just go on about our lives. Any of this, like even the COVID stuff, like just this fear mongering, like we wouldn't be that concerned about it if it was the past. So many people wouldn't be against the vaccine. So many people wouldn't be pushing the vaccine on people. It would just be people living their lives and doing what's best for them at the time. And then you wouldn't have all these media outlets and social media outlets and alt-right news channels and these progressive channels and this alternative media feeding you all this information and you getting all this, you're just bombarding your mind like Donkey Kong just beating on your head and you just like you don't know what's true, you don't know what's right, and then you not only have are you worrying about all this other stuff that actually doesn't impact you in any way, you still have to deal with your regular life as a regular person. Like you still like got bills, you got kids, you got worry about this, worry about that. Your life, you're not happy, you're not accomplishing your dreams. You're 30 and you're just not where you thought you would be at in life. And like, it's a shame that online has caused some of this, being terminally online, being terminally on social media. And that's why depression is so high because we're so aware. Like Jesus Christ, we're so aware of everything. Depression and suicide is at an all-time high, bro. And I think social media and online it plays a huge factor in that. And then you got people feeding you all these ideas that you believe to be true, and then you can't like relate that back to your real life, and then now you're more upset. Now you're more like, heartbroken because you can't be like them. Because they tell you all these neat tricks, but they don't say that, bro, like everyone's life is not like that. And social media is just the highlights. That's all it ever is. It's just the highlights. And while everyone knows that's true, it's like when all the highlights are shown to you so much, the highlights become the norm. The highlights become, and subconsciously we think it's the norm. The highlights just become regular reality. Reality is your perspective, bro, and your and what you see, and that's what we see, and that's what becomes reality, man. So yeah, like this is I may never use social media again, but we'll see. Like I think there's a lot to talk about when it comes to just the way that we deal with being online so much, man. I think we handle it poorly. I think that people shouldn't have this much power. I think that we we've reached a point where we've gotten too much power. We can look up anything, we can know anything. You know what I mean? Like we've gotten too much power at our fingertips. We can click 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 clack and then just get something. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's too much power in the hands of the individual. And I'm not saying we should go back to where the people didn't have any knowledge or any power, but I think we need to. And we will never go back. We will never go back. Once you introduce something, like it's easier to keep something from somebody than give it to them and take it away. And now that it's in our hands, it's just going to keep getting worse, man. Because this generation that never really was outside, but kind of remembers it, kind of, like the one, like after me, or the two after me, the generation after them and after them are going to be so much more worse. Like, and we still don't know the long-term effects of social media. It hasn't been like 30 or 40 years, so we can really see how that really impacts society over a long period of time. So it's gonna be interesting to see, man. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, this is why I'm taking a break from social media. This is what I'm taking a break from just like some online stuff in general. My phone time is like my phone usage is down 25%. I'm just trying, man. I'm just trying to do better, trying to get away from this social media stuff, bro. Trying to get away from online, get back into the real world. Just um. But yeah, this is why I'm creating this Rex's Advocate. Um, this is just my opinion. I may be wrong, but we all know I'm right. Uh, this is part one. Part one in this one is going to be the most I don't want to say boring, but the most I'm just going to be spewing information that it's not really that exciting for my mind because I just want to really talk about like why I'm getting offline and what's been bothering me online specifically and why I'm choosing to take a step back and start this video series. So this is what part one is about. Eventually I have very very interesting topics. Like I have them already written down. Just to give y'all a little sneak peek, I have League of Legends, the drug that doesn't feel good. That's one topic. I hate weebs and idolizing Japan and Asian culture. That one's gonna be fun. And then I also have some other ones that I've been thinking about. And what I want to do is release one of these every 2 to 3 days. Give this one some time to breathe, let people watch it, then release another one. And this will like just have me something to do, write, create, upload, and this is gonna be the only one that's not as funny because I'm, being more of a showman with my words and things like that. I just wanted to get this one out because this is gonna be the most boring one. Yeah, so thank everybody for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you like this. Let me know what you want if you have something that you want my opinion on. Yeah. So the next one is gonna come out. What's today? Tuesday. The next one's probably gonna come out Friday. And that one is going to be League of Legends, the drug that doesn't feel good. And if you know me, I've been playing League of Legends for over a decade now. So, yeah, this is Rex Advocates, episode one. Rex out.